Hi, this is Dr. Sandy Queen with Queen Homeschool Supplies, and today I'm going to do a flip through video of the very first book in our language lesson series, available at queenhomeschool.com. So please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. I'm going to be doing a lot more flip through videos of every book in this series, as well as a bunch of others, and that way you'll get notified when they become available. So this first book, Language Lessons for Little Ones, is set up for very young children just ready to start doing school. And it contains 180 daily lessons, like every book in the language lesson series does. This is for children who are just ready to start learning their ABCs, what they look like, how to recognize them and write them, the upper and lower case letters, and basically just to start developing the habit of sitting still for a few minutes a day, doing the Charlotte Mason inspired, very short, very focused lessons. So this one starts out with, like all of them do, with a letter to the parent telling how to use the lessons in this book and the different types of things that are taught. And what you're going to see then is full color pictures for all the picture study lessons. And here we have a picture study, and the next day we have a narration. And the next day we have a poetry reading and appreciation, where you're going to read a poem to the child and then discuss it together. And the next day is a narration back at that with that poem. Okay. The next day we start learning about letters, and they're just writing the upper and lower case letters here. So what you're going to see is that every lesson is laid out with the lesson number. So there's 180 daily numbered lessons, and they are just writing very short lessons each day. Okay, here they're recognizing the letter A's and circling them. Here they're going to learn how to sing the ABCs in order, point to the different letters and say them as they're sing them as they're pointing to them. Okay, now we're going again, lesson by lesson. Letter B, find the A's and the B's because they've learned both of those. The next day we have another poetry appreciation. It says, listen to the poem below as your parent reads it, and then the parent's going to read Fuzzy Fuzzy Creepy Crawly by Lillian Schultz, which is a poem about a caterpillar, and that's a couple stanzas long. The next day we're going to look back at that poem and read it real quickly again and do some pointed questions. It says, have your parent read the poem from yesterday's lesson aloud again, then answer the following questions. And the questions are very child-friendly for a young child. Have you ever seen a caterpillar? What color was it? Did you touch it? How did it feel? Things like that, okay? So then the next day is a creative expression lesson where they have to draw a picture of a caterpillar. The next day they're reviewing A and B and learning the letter C down here. And so you'll see the lessons are all very short, very gentle. Here we have another picture study day. When we do a picture study in the language lessons books, particularly for the very young children, this is kind of a precursor to creative writing. So this is for a child who's obviously not ready to sit and write a story or do a written narration. They're not ready to write anything because they haven't learned their letters yet. They haven't learned how to read yet. Those skills will come in the next two language lessons books. But here we have them starting to look at beautiful artwork, and then also to look for details, specific details that we want them to find. And the reason for that is to train them to, first of all, express themselves creatively, but also to develop the habit of paying attention to detail, which is so important in a Charlotte Mason style education. So it's a lot more than just a day looking at a pretty picture and then we're done. Okay, so again, that's how this book progresses. There's a wide variety of types of lessons here, again, laid out lesson by lesson. Creative expression and narration one day, creative expression another day, poetry appreciation, learning letters again here. Okay, another day of reading a poem and discussing it together, another day of narrating something about the poem, Another day of creative expression. And now we're learning the letter D. And then we're recognizing the letters that we've learned so far and circling them and doing some copy work. This is the first time we see copy work. And as you can see, this copy work is just copying over letters onto the lines next to them, because this is for a child who's maybe 3, 4, 5 years old, very young, just ready to start the skill of writing, actually. But yet they're going to eventually be doing copy work lessons where they're copying over several sentences or a stanza from a poem. And of course, that comes several books later in this series, so several years later. But right here at the very beginning of a child's education, we're starting right here in lesson 29 of Language Lessons for Little Ones to develop the skill of copy work and just start to set that habit, okay? And you will see also that we do have blank pages on the other side here. And the reason for that is because there will be days and lessons where they will use that to either draw a picture that pertains to something, or to write something there, or to somehow use that blank page. So it's not just wasted space. All right, another poetry reading, another narration. Another day of picture study by one of my favorite artists. And so when we have a picture study, we're telling them the name of the picture, the name of the artwork rather, and the name of the artist, and then something about it, or something about the artist, something about the painting, something about the subject of the painting, or something that you see going on there. So it's, again, much more than just looking at a picture. And that's how this book progresses through all the way. Okay, you'll see some familiar childhood poems in here, and you'll see some that you probably have never heard before. But we want to expose them to a nice wide variety of very child-friendly poetry and artwork while introducing lessons where they're learning the different alphabet letters. So I just wanted to give you a broader overview by flipping through this book than the sample that you'll find on our website. If you go to the section for language arts on our website at queenhomeschool.com, you'll see all of our books are written from a Christian perspective as well. Okay, so I want to throw that out there since you see a Christian painting here. But you'll see, where was I going with that? Okay, look in the language arts section on our website at queenhomeschool.com, and you'll see a section for the language lessons books there. You can see all the different volumes of the language lesson series, and if you click on any individual one, you'll be able to see a sample, a printable sample of each book that you can print out and give them just a little sampling trial run there. And I just love the beautiful artwork. This is actually what prompted me to write the first book that I wrote in this series for my own 6 children, was I wanted full color artwork, and I couldn't find anything truly beautiful that contained that, and that the lessons were simple and short and focused, focusing on the beauty that Charlotte Mason recommended exposing the child to. So this is Language Lessons for Little Ones, also known as Language Lessons for Little Ones Volume 1. There is a Language Lessons for Little Ones Volume 2 and Volume 3, and those books are listed in the back here in order. Those books teach phonics, but this one is before phonics. So this is for a very young little child who's just ready to start learning about letters. Anywhere from preschool through kindergarten is the typical age range that we see starting here. So I hope that's been helpful for you to see the entire book from cover to cover. And if you want to check it out any further, go to our website at queenhomeschool.com. Feel free to post your questions or your experiences with this book or any of the language lessons books below the video today. Thank you so much for watching.